really was to
that I felt like I needed, and I was comfortable in that space of just me and God.
It is offensive. Hope is desperate.
Hey. Welcome everybody to Jumpstart Your Vision with Coach Karen Hilton. I am Coach Karen Hilton, and I have to say this, welcome back. For those of you that have been following us for a while, you know that we, over the pandemic, went live every single Monday morning as our way to just reconnect and to give our community an opportunity to just stay positive, to stay connected to the things that help them rock their vision. And I want you to know it has been a labor of love. Now, we went quiet over 2021 because we had a lot of other things going on. So we didn't go anywhere. We just got better and we got more focused and more connected to our purpose and developed the perspective that, you know what, we needed to take the feedback that we got from our community and build something better. So here we are. So welcome in. If you are joining us live, then by all means, join the conversation. You can put comments in. You can ask questions. We've got an amazing guest this morning. But before I do all of that, I just want to say to all of the folks that have been with us for a while, our ride or dies, we've actually been around for about 10 years, for those of you that did not know that. So I want to say welcome to all of our founder community, all of our students, all of our ambassadors, all of our coaches. We call them the squad. I want to say good morning and welcome. We are so excited to share some of the things that are coming up with you. But let's do a couple of things first. I want to just give a shout out to John Kovaleski. Many of you know John is my twin. So don't be alarmed if you ever see him. But John is our production manager. He's in the background, behind the scenes, doing all the things and making me look really, really good. So good morning, John, and thanks for all your help. You will see him pop into the chat, and he's incredible. You should check him out. We'll be sharing his information and potentially featuring him in a future show because this man has a vision. Faux show. But before I do anything else, I want to introduce you to somebody really, really special. He is one of the foundational parts of my life and this community. He is our community pastor. He also has a lot of other roles. I'm going to introduce you to him. His name is Pastor Andy Smith. Hey there, Pastor Andy.
Hey, Karen, it is so much fun to be back. It feels like forever, and yet I feel
It's been forever.
I feel like we're about to jump back in and pick up where we left off and make it better. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Well, listen, I want to tell people a little bit about you. For those of you that don't know, Pastor Andy Smith is an adjunct professor at Lee University. He's executive pastor of Influencers Atlanta. Whoop, whoop, for all of my influencers folks. And let's see, he also does frequent work with Kennesaw State University. Go Owls, because I'm an owl. And he does a lot of work with their athlete community and the 925 athletic ministries around character development, and more specifically, the KSU football program. If y'all don't know, you should know. KSU football is fire. I'm just saying. Just saying. Is that right, Pastor Andy?
Come on, that's right. I'm a big fan. Some great look. It's a remarkable program, and already in just the short tenure of its existence has accomplished great championships and goals. So it's a great program.
It is, and we want to say a special shout out to one of our roadies, Sterling Brown at KSU. Yeah. Come on, Sterling Brown. He is the leader of character development at KSU, and he's doing incredible work. So Sterling, if you're watching, we just want to say a shout out. So anyway, if you are joining live, do me a favor, share this. We want to get the conversation started. We've got an amazing agenda today. We are going to be talking about how to pulse check your vision. And I want to give a little context to just how we got to that. So, we're a little past mid-year. And for those of you that don't know, I have a private practice where I work on a retained basis with large organizations and teams to help them build a vision that they love. And a lot of what I saw in that line of my work was this kind of mid-year hustle, hustle, hustle. Do more, do more, do more. You set your goals, just push a little harder, do a little bit more. And while I am all about hitting targets and setting goals, I think there was this kind of miss, right, for those of us that lead and those of us that design programs, where sometimes we miss that achieving your goals is not always about doing more. Sometimes it's about getting focused, connecting to your purpose, and developing perspective. We're going to talk about it today with an incredibly special guest. I'm going to introduce you to her in just a moment. But first, I want to shout you out. So listen, if you are in the comments, if you're joining live, don't forget, give StreamYard permission because I want to see your name. We may shout out your comments. And with that, I want to shout out one of the most amazing women in my life. She is one of our founders, one of our roadies. She's an incredible woman. Andy, we're going to have her on here one of these days. Her name is Christy Kent. Good morning, Christy. Come on.
Hey, Christy.
We are so excited. Thank you so much. We see your comment there. Thank you for welcoming us back. We are super excited to be here. I also want to shout out my right hand. She is our Senior Operations Administrator. Her name is Lorianne Taylor. Good morning, Lorianne. She's in the chat as well. We are so glad that you are here. This is actually her first time joining us in one of these. So I'm super excited for you guys to get to know her as well. Come on. Philip Williams is in the comments. Come on, Coach Philip. We see you. We see you. Y'all, if you have not met Philip Williams, we are absolutely going to be featuring his story. He has an incredible story and an incredible vision. We're going to be sharing that as well. And then the one, the only, Shay Houston. I don't even have enough time. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that, but this woman will change your life. She has a vision that is worth following. She also makes really good macarons, but that's for another story. So anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, I want to introduce to you our guest this morning where we're talking about a really important topic, and it's this idea of pulse checking your vision. Right? We start at the beginning of the year, we do our vision boards. Pastor Andy, I know you do a strategic plan with the leadership team at Influencers Atlanta. By the way, let's shout out Influencers Atlanta. Yeah. Pastor, help me.
Pastor Ashley and Jane.
Pastor Ashley and Pastor Jane. Thank you. I got all these names running through my head. Right. At Influencers Atlanta, we want to thank them for all of the work that they're leading. And giving us an opportunity to spend some time with Pastor Andy on Monday mornings. So Influencers Atlanta is doing incredible work. They also have an incredible vision. So we want to say good morning to them as well and all the leadership team at Influencers Atlanta. But, you do a strategic plan. We do vision boards here. We do a vision summit every year. We are actually going to be doing quarterly vision summits in the very near future. I'm super excited about that. But we start the year and we get excited, right? We've got that momentum, that energy. And then March hits and we're like, okay, I got all of the things cleared out of my head. I know what I'm working on. I'm running hard. And it starts to be right about this time of year that we start already looking towards the end of the year. And for lots of vision-driven leaders, that can cause a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry. But we're going to talk about it. I want to introduce you to an incredibly special woman. Her name is Janice Anderson, and she is CEO of Moruwa Consulting. Now, we'll talk about how we met, but when I tell you, this woman is, she's incredibly competent. I mean, she's fierce. We're going to talk about her area of specialty in just a moment, but the woman can preach and teach. And when I tell you, when I first met her, I wanted to listen to everything she had to say. If she recited the alphabet, I was in. I wanted to hear what she was talking about. I want to introduce you to the incredible Janice Anderson. Good morning, Janice.
Good morning, Karen. Oh, you can't hear me?
Good morning. I can hear you now.
Okay.
I can hear you
Good
now.
morning,
Good morning.
Pastor Andy. I'm so excited to be here.
Hey,
We are so excited to have you. So, Janice, you describe yourself as a vision builder and life innovator. In our community, we call these vision masters. You have built something incredible. We're going to talk about it in just a moment. And my hope is that as our community listens to your story and listens to your vision, that they'll find something that they can hold on to and really implement right away. We focus on power plays. Those are the game-changing strategies that you can implement in your work, in your mission, in your ministry, in your life that make an incremental difference, right? We don't want to just talk about surface stuff. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme kind of situation. This is real life. So we talk about the real and the raw. We talk about the good stuff, the bad stuff, the things that challenge us, and the things that help us grow and build a vision we love. And I have to say, Janice, it kind of seems like you've got a vision you love.
I absolutely do. I love what I get to do. I love what I'm called to do. I think that's why I love the vision. You ever hear people say, I'm called to do something, but I didn't want to go. I was running. Yeah, I wasn't running.
Yeah, you weren't running away from it. You were running to it.
Yes. Okay, I'm here.
I love it. Tell our community a little bit about you, who you are, what you do, and how you serve.
Okay, well, I'm Janice Anderson, and I am a wife. I'm a mother of 3 generations of girls. Yes, you heard me, 3 generations of girls. I have a daughter in her 20s, a daughter that's a teenager, and I also have a toddler. I have a 2-year-old.
Wow.
I know. Pray. Can everybody put their hands up and pray for me, please? Also, am the CEO and founder of 2 companies. So I'm the CEO of Moruwa Consulting. It is a strategy consulting company where we help visionary leaders like you all build, brand, and expand their vision. And I've been running this company now. This is our 13th year, OMG.
Wow.
Full time as an entrepreneur. And that was a call. And then my second baby, I most recently birthed. I'm the founder of Significant Life, and it is a community for women, Christian women of influence who want to live, lead, and serve from an anchored place.
Wow. Okay, so you run 2 companies.
Yes.
That blows my mind because I also run 2 companies. And I like hats off to you if you run one.
Listen.
Hats off to you if you're a parent or a guardian or a grandparent, any of those things. But you are running and leading 2 unique companies that have their own vision and their own mission. I mean, talk to us a little bit about how you got to that.
Wow. Okay, so if it was up to me, I would stay with the one. That I would have stayed with the one. I'm passionate about it. I started it. And for any of the visionary leaders out here, what did you say? You call them vision makers? Tell me what your name is.
So we have vision casters, vision masters, and vision mentors.
Okay. So, okay, great. So I think I'm going to speak to all 3 of them.
Okay.
If you're just the fact that you're holding a vision, that you've been entrusted with the vision, it's a tall order and it is scary at times. And if you're serious about it, you're not quick to run to the next thing. You're like, you know what? Let's work this thing. Let's get this going. Just when you think you have some rhythm, some momentum, you see something else. You're like, oh, we probably could do this better. We can tweak this. Let's get rid of this. And right smack in the middle of that, 10 years in, 12 years in. And actually, I'm going to be honest, probably about 5 years in, I heard this tugging of something else. But I was like, oh, that's not me. Not me. So my first company, I worked with pastors. I started out working with pastors and Christian leaders, helping them to build, at the time I was calling it expand their reach without compromising their message. I feel like many values-driven and purpose-driven leaders have great vision, and they're up against the pressure of the platform, the pressure of society, the pressure of what everyone else is doing. And before you know it, they're watering it down by doing tactics and strategies that align with other things that really don't align with them. And so I was like, you know what? I have this background in communication and marketing. how good would it be if I served my people?
Come on.
With that gift. I mean, I could have gone anywhere, but I was really passionate about it. And I see so much. So here I am, I'm just trucking along. And then I started getting these calls. And if anyone is ever wondering if it's time to move in a certain direction or answer a certain direction, just look where the door is opening.
Come on.
I kept getting these calls to walk through a door, and they kept calling me to talk to women. I'm like, I don't have time for that. And so I was like, what do you want me to talk about? Do you want me to talk about marketing? Do you want me to talk about leadership development? Do you want me to talk about branding? And every single time, Karen, every time I was feeling like, why are they picking me for this? This isn't even, I wanted to stay in the box that was comfortable, the box that I was building, the box that I was refining. But, I didn't feel like God was allowing me to. And so finally, okay, I'll give you this analogy and I'll let you ask me any questions about it. So I'm a type of person, when I walk in a public restroom, I don't go to the first door. I don't know why. I just don't go to the first door. So think about, you're at the airport. It's just full of restrooms, and you're walking through the door, and you see the first door is kind of open, and you see the second door is closed. You see the third door is partially open, and I'm walking past all these doors to go to the one and push the one that's not even all the way open. And
Come on, set it up.
It was crazy. I remember probably like one time I was in the Atlanta airport, and I was doing that. And I felt Holy Spirit say, Janice, that's what you do with the things I'm calling you to do. You walk past the door that I've opened for you, and you go to the door that you got to force open. But the door that I've opened for you is right here. And I was like, shut up. Oh my goodness. I could not believe it. And I think that's what was happening for me and the women. And so I had the vision since 2012. I didn't birth it until 2019.
Wow.
And for those of us who are believers, I know the audience is mixed. I didn't obey until 2019. Let's go ahead and call it what it is. Like for me, the visions that I'm working, these are God's idea. So it's not just, I got this great idea, I'm going to pursue it. It's God's idea. So I'm saying yes to his idea. And every day that I'm second guessing, every day that I'm vacillating, every day that I'm sitting on the sideline is a day that I'm walking in disobedience. So yeah, I was saying, not really, God. I don't think I'm ready.
That's a good word right there.
Yeah,
So can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, I need a minute.
Yeah. So Janice, one of the things that you just nailed that I think is something I'd like you to unpack a little bit more is you, and let me make sure I hear it correctly. The vision didn't originate in you. It was an invitation to join something bigger than you that would be revealed to everyone around you because you connected with it. Could you unpack that? Because I think a lot of times we look inwards for a vision. You brought onto the conversation. This was something outside of you that you were being invited into.
Yeah, I love that.
Can you unpack that just a little bit more? Because I think,
and I think
so important.
Thank you for saying that, Pastor Andy, and calling it out. And it definitely was something that I was invited into. And this is why, when I wasn't running because I didn't pick me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't pick myself for this. And when it gets tough, and when it seems impossible, I can remind God that, God, this was your idea. Like, I didn't come up with this. And there were many times where it seemed impossible. Like for me, there were tons of things. Just think about your life. There are tons of things you could do. Just think about where your skills and your talent, your ability, your schooling, your experiences, where do they naturally tend to lead you? Likely it's not where you are. It's probably not, you could thrive there, but where you are is something I know for me that pulled me. It was something that stretched me. Here I am. I do love the Lord. I have been saved since I was 9 years old, but my family was not a family of pastors and preachers. So how then would I know what goes on, how to walk alongside leaders? How would I know that in that way, in an intimate way, and gain their trust so quickly? Like, how did I gain their trust? And I was in rooms and I'm looking around like, hello, y'all do know I'm from Savannah. I'm Geechee. I'm country. I'm low-key ghetto. Have you met me? Like, do you know who I am? Like, what am I doing here? Like, when I look at the history of my life and I look at some of the rooms, for all intents and purposes, I'm like, I really don't belong here. And I can't stay here on my own. Sometimes I got called in places and my studies didn't prepare me for the place. But because of my prayer life, because of my relationship with the Lord, like He gave me answers on the spot. I can name, but I won't, some of the leaders that I've had the privilege of working alongside. And I sit back in awe, like they picked me. I remember one time, my first six-figure contract, it was based on referral. And I remember the person, I'd been following their ministry for years. I probably have tons of their books in the back. And she said to me, "You were referred, so I'm going to go with you." I was like, God, is this happening to me? Okay. And I'm going to say this, Pastor Andy, and I'm going to say this to you, Karen, because somebody might be like, you know what? Yeah, Janice, that's just you. Let me tell y'all how I almost sabotaged that whole thing.
Come on.
I was stressing so much about it. Like, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. Like she's picking me. She's about to say yes. What should be the number? So after I got through mapping out all the things, what I would do, giving myself a fair chance to get the agreement, I could not make it less than six figures because of the work that was involved. So that was stretching me. Like, here I am. I'm about to get this number. This lady's going to think I'm crazy. So she comes, at first she's like, well, can you take it down just $1,000 a month? And I was willing to do it. I was willing. It was just $1,000 a month. She said, because we'll be traveling and I'll have to pay for your travel, and some of it's international. And so I want to account for that. And I was like, okay, let me see. And then she called back and she said, you know what? I don't want you to go down. I will pay you what you asked for because I want you to do the job that I'm hiring you to do. I was like, whoa. So I went on a walk. And I went on a walk I was living in an apartment at that time, and I was walking around my apartment and I was really stressing out. And I was like, God, what is going on? What is wrong with me, Lord? I can't get my bearing. I can't get my confidence on this. I hear what she said, but what if I mess it up? All these what ifs. And He said to me, Janice, you are addicted to the struggle. Excuse me? Yeah, you're addicted to struggle. You're so used to struggle. You're so used to the struggle. You're so comfortable in the struggle. You're so familiar with the struggle that when I give you an opportunity that you don't have to struggle for, you try to sabotage it. Listen, I was like, okay. And so from that day to this day, I've been walking on this journey of reminding myself and being crystal clear, so much so that I have a sticky note that I will pull from I have it right here on my wall, that I'm only pursuing God's ideas. Because when I pursue what He's invited me into, He is going to be there to help me. He's going to be there to support me. He's going to be my protection. There are tons of things I could do. There are tons of things. My skills, my abilities, my experience, they open up so many doors for me. But I need the ultimate protection. I need, when I'm walking about to sabotage a six-figure deal, He said, hey, daughter, you're doing it again. You're doing it again. I picked you for this. You couldn't have picked yourself for this. You couldn't have orchestrated this. I did. So part of the invitation, to go back to your question, Pastor Andy, part of my process is looking at what's before me and saying, okay, what is my motive behind taking this? Why do I feel I need this? Is it because I want the money? Is it because I want the name that it's going to give me? Is it because what everyone else is saying? Like, I'm checking in and I'm like, God, I just need something to know that this was you. I need you to just tell me this was you, because I can't afford to take anything that's not you. I've been through too much. Maybe when I was younger, maybe when I was more naive, maybe when I was just this whippersnapper straight out of college, think I can do all the things. I jumped on all this stuff, but now it's too much at stake. It's my health, my husband, my marriage, what we've built. I'm not willing to do anything that you're not inviting me into.
So I'm a little winded because I could sit here all day. Like, this is seriously an all-day masterclass, but I want to go back to something you said about the struggle. And for those of us that are vision-driven leaders, there's something inside of us that we can't explain, right? And I always like to make it clear in Rock Your Vision that rocking your vision is not always about starting $1 million, $1 billion company. It is not always about, becoming executive vice president of whatever. Sometimes rocking your vision is about resigning from your job, putting on your sweats, and becoming a caregiver for your mother who is in the process of transitioning from this life to the next. That was my story. But as I came out of what I thought my vision was, and what I thought was kind of the approved vision that everybody else had for me, you know, VP of HR for a global tech company, you know, running HR operations in 4 countries, reporting directly to the president. That's a thing we all dreamed of when I was coming up, right? Right. I had it made, traveling the world and all of that. I thought that was my vision. But as I began to realize that what God was putting in front of me, like you were talking about, like he was like, your mom, your mom, your mom. And I kept running from it. It wasn't because I didn't love my mom. My mom was one of my best friends. But I could not recognize and resolve or reconcile that what I was about to walk into was going to be remarkably different from where I was.
Yes.
Like where I was in that moment. But something gave me the courage. I resigned from my job and I said, God, if this is what you have for me, then there's no better job than caring for my mother. And y'all know, for any of you that have been caregivers, sometimes those seasons are not easy, but it may be what you're called. That may be how you rock your vision in that moment, because you need to let go of all that other stuff. Right. So I'm so fascinated by this idea that you were on a struggle bus, you were running from something, right? And you finally said yes.
Yes.
You finally said yes. So for all of you out there that are thinking, well, you know, maybe this isn't for me because my vision isn't big enough. I say this all the time, we've got t-shirts that have it on it. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose, beloved. Mm-hmm. That purpose may not look like what my purpose looks like. It may not look like what Janice's purpose looks like. But if you are a believer, if you are being in obedience to God, then your vision is exactly where you're supposed to be. Janice, what do you think about that? Am I wrong?
Oh, girl, no. Let me say something. When I tell you, I totally agree. So much so, Karen, that it is important for us to take a minute and pause and check in and say, Father, this is my prayer. I say regularly, what are you asking me? What are you asking me? And what are you requiring of me now? There are seasons in this 13 years of running the consultancy and now 2 years of running the coaching practice for women where I had to take a pause. I said when I started, I have a toddler. Y'all, that meant I was nursing. She just stopped nursing a month before she turned 2, which means as of March, I was still nursing.
Yeah.
Different life. I mean, I have a 13-year-old. There were seasons of her life where she was vacillating with who she is and how she's supposed to show up and what is it that what God is saying to her, and you know, all of these things. My 22-year-old just graduated college a year ago, and there were times, let's think about this, in the beginning of my marriage. So maybe somebody can relate to this. I'm gonna go ahead and be just transparent for everybody else. Have a great day, sweet pea. I'm gonna be transparent for everybody else. Okay, my husband and I, we've been married. This year is 7 years, and we just thank God for 7 years because
Amen. Congratulations.
The way I'm set up, thank you. Both of us have been married before, so we had practice marriages. You know, we just thank God for making that practice marriage and being where we are now. Hallelujah.
Lord, that's a separate show, girl.
You come in with all these stories. I came in with the vision. I came in with the plan. I came in, you know, working Moruwa Consulting and doing what I was doing. And it didn't match. It didn't fit my marriage. Now, I knew the Lord called me to do that because I didn't even come up with this idea. So, Lord, how can you call me to do this? I get married, and the very thing you gave me to do is causing conflict in my relationship. This don't make sense to me. So then now I have to make a decision. Is God lying or my husband lying? Now I'm feeling like this is also the man that's from God. Like he, you know, so then I had to ask myself some pivotal questions. This is why I want to help everyone. Okay.
Come on.
Is what I'm doing honoring God? How does God get glory if me pursuing my business destroys my marriage? How does he get glory from that? If me pursuing this call to build this thing, but my children are far away from him and don't know him and are struggling with their identity and they can't figure out where their mom is, how does he get glory out of that? And so for me, what I realize is in the moment, my question is, Father, what is the assignment for me today? Now, I'm not going to deny that you called me to do that. You gave me that idea. Remember, I said at the beginning, this was his idea. So clearly, either you are done with this, because y'all know assignments have an end date. Yeah, they have an end date. We try to make things go perpetually because that's what makes us feel good and that's what we're comfortable with.
Wow.
The assignment is over. And that was the hardest thing for me to wrestle with. And I wasn't sure. Is he saying put this down? Is he saying this is in? That was the season. It was all the way until now you got married and it's over. Now it didn't make good sense to me because I'm like, your girl was struggling to figure this thing out all these years. I done navigated all this stuff. Lord, I can't believe you would have me do this and that and this and then say, that's it, it's over. When I'm rationalizing with my human mind and I'm reasoning with my limited perspective, I'm gonna act like Job. Job was questioning God for all those chapters and he was going in. I love that chapter because I love Job speak. And I loved all of that because my mom would make me be quiet. But at the end, God said, hey, sir, can you let me talk? Yes, sir. And he said, you know what? Where were you when I was boom, 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 boom? Where were you when I did? And then he gave Job a different perspective. He gave him a larger perspective of the bigger picture. And so God sees what we can't see. And I have a part to play, but it's not all that's going on. So while I'm fussing and I'm kicking and I'm screaming, y'all, if I could see on my desk right here, 3 words are take to my desk as a reminder as I'm walking this journey of fulfilling God's idea as he has given it to me. 3 things are pivotal for me: sacrifice, submission, and trust. And those words came. I can look at them, I can smile right now, but when they first came to me, I was crying because at that time I felt very strongly the Lord was telling me to put my consulting business aside and focus on my marriage. And I felt like it was unfair. I felt like I felt like I was being betrayed. I felt like I was being acquired for parts and taken apart for parts. And he had done all these things to me and made me go through all this fire just to be over here and now be a wife.
I think I just pulled a muscle.
I'm telling you, I'm just saying it raw because I'm saying it how I feel. And I was like, could not believe he was doing that to me. God, do you know what I walked through? Telling him all the things. And then I realized, Janice, if you trust God, who are you trusting? He was remember you're the one that said it was his idea. He's God. And so I remember when I was like, okay, well, God, if you're telling me this is over, there were so many more things I wanted to accomplish. I didn't even hit these milestones that I said and that I was setting out to do, but okay. I mean, I was crying. I wasn't saying it cute. I was crying. I was like, okay, well, I guess that's what you want me to. Doing all of that.
So let's go back to that part about, when God puts your vision on pause. We've all heard the saying, your delay is not necessarily your denial, right? Mm-hmm. Something happens, right, that you had it was going good, like you were just getting your momentum and you were just 2 chapters away from your book. You thought you were about to get proposed to. You were just saving up enough money to get that business or that car or whatever it is you got going on, and something, bam, blindsides you.
Yes.
Maybe it's the voice of God. Maybe it's something in the earth, something in your circumstances that you didn't expect. Maybe your spouse comes home and says, I don't want to be married anymore. Or maybe something tragic happens and you can't recover. When my mom fell ill, I was at the top of my game. And I worked hard to get there, folks. Let's talk about that. Okay. I had a plan and I thought I was listening. You talked about this, but something happened and I felt, you're talking to this and I know this community. I know everybody in here who's listening either live or on replay has experienced this, where you're trying to rock your vision, but something comes and knocks you off your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel, the way that I call it, as I felt tricked.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So when disruption comes, how do you keep going? How do you keep from being bitter? How do you keep from, and I'm a little shook, because what you're talking about, you're just about quoting what Andy preached on yesterday. Okay, talk about alignment. But how do you keep, like tell us for you, your experience
Mm-hmm.
on how you shifted from frustration or bitterness or whatever it was for you to curiosity and leaning into the season.
First of all, I didn't ignore the season. I owned it for what it was. And I think what tends to happen is when we try to push past what is going on, when we try to act as if it is not happening, and when we just try to rush past what's going on, we set ourselves up for failure and for burnout and for exhaustion. The second thing I would want to remind everyone, this is what I had to do, is remind myself that I am not my situation. We should probably just go ahead and say this. Not my situation. When I was going through a divorce, I mean, as a believer, I put a lot of priority and sacredness in marriage, and to know that my marriage was ending in divorce was not exciting for me. And so I felt like a failure. I felt like I was letting so many people down. I'm a leader in church and in these circles, and here I am getting a divorce, and I have these 2 daughters, and all the things. And maybe it's not a divorce. Maybe you're getting you got fired, or car repossessed, or whatever the struggle is, whatever the thing is, whatever the season is, you're not the situation. The situation is a situation. And so I need to see myself apart from the situation and give myself the grace to navigate through. And so then when I say I'm seeing myself apart from that, then what does Janice need in order to safely navigate through this season that she's in? When I was going through just having my most recent baby, I realized where I was struggling is I kept saying, people would ask me, maybe I won't talk about the baby, I'll say this: when we first got married, people would ask, Janice, how's it going? How's married life? How are you guys doing? I'm like, oh, we're doing great. We're doing great. I just got to find my rhythm, How is it going? Oh my gosh, you married this amazing man. How are you? How's the power couple? Oh, we're doing great. I just got to find my rhythm. So at about 18 months of saying, I just got to find my rhythm, I just, Holy Spirit, he do what he does always. Tap me on the shoulder, say, could you stop saying that? Could you stop saying that? I was like, what? What do you mean? Yeah, quit saying you're trying to find your rhythm. Oh, why? He said, you're not trying to find your rhythm, Janice. You're trying to fit your new life into your old rhythm. And so many of us, the struggle is, I'm trying to fit this new life, this new way of existing into my old way of living, and it's not going to work. And until you stop what you're doing and acknowledge that the situation has changed and you are not the situation, but you do have to adjust to accommodate the situation, you're going to be going in cycles and in circles, and you're going to be more frustrated than what you need to be. Secondly, as you're navigating through, getting exactly what you need in the season, the healing, the education to suit that season, the new schedule to fit that season, the new perspective and outlook on life, the owning of the season, that this is just the season that I'm in. As you're navigating through that, one other thing I think that is important to note is when you come out, don't dare be this cruel to your heart, because that's what it is. It's cruel to your heart to try to make up for lost time. I'm just going to try to catch up to where I used to be. Let me get back, because, I did all. No.
Wow.
No. That's the cruelest thing we could do to our heart. I didn't do that. I went through the fire. It was tough. The woman I am today is far better, far more refined than the woman that I used to be. Okay, God, what's the assignment today? Now, for some of us, he will tell you to pick up the same. Listen, I'm going to make myself cry right now. He might even give you a previous assignment, but because
Wow.
you walked through graciously, because you came through with discipline, because you came through even though it wasn't popular and it wasn't fun, because you sacrificed, submitted, and trusted him along the journey, he may give you the thing that you had to sit down, and you don't even have to work as hard as you thought you did to go to where he has next. Because remember those open doors that I was talking about in the bathroom stalls? He would just place you in an open door. We don't know how he's going to work these things out. We don't know what he's going to do. And even if it's not something that is, you know, honorable to do, like caring for your mom, maybe the season that you had that was tough was because of a proof of life, because you made some decisions. You know, there are times when life happens to us, and then there are times when we happen to ourselves. I got a lot of times when I had happened to myself. And even if you know what I'm saying, I happened to my own self. But even in that, you know, for the beautiful thing that we have for us as believers is we serve a God that is very compassionate and very gracious. Just read the whole Old Testament and look at the craziness of the children of Israel. They were out of control. They kept doing the same dumb stuff over and over again. But with great compassion and great love and great grace, the Lord still gave them a different chance, and he still made a way from them. I don't know how people make it that are not believers. I just don't. Because then you'd have to try to out earn all the craziness that you've done. But as believers, that's not what we have to do. And so when I'm coming on the other side of this thing, I'm saying, okay, God, I'm here. Now what?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm going to pop into the chat because we have an incredible conversation going. And Janice, all of what you're talking about is landing.
Amen.
Like this is real life and real stuff. This is exactly why we do this. Our goal is that every Monday morning that you hear something that inspires you, encourages you, and equips you to go out and rock the vision that God has for you. My cousin is in here, y'all. Marcellus Lyles Jr. Y'all say good morning to Marcellus. That is my dog. He's in this morning. He's an incredible vision-driven leader based out of Florida. He is a tech entrepreneur. We are so excited to see you in here, Marcellus. Jessica Banner is in here. She is a soon-to-be author. She's a ministry leader. She is an incredibly talented counseling professional, licensed counseling professional. Jessica, you drop in the chat and let us know. Are you overseas? Are you joining us overseas? I think that's right. Isn't that right, Andy?
Yeah, I think she is across the pond for sure.
Wow. I think she's in Scotland, Ireland, somewhere like that. Anywho, she says, I so needed to be reminded and hear this morning. I love when God recalibrates our thoughts and our hearts. Amen to not being a part of anything he did not invite you to. If he didn't invite you to it, you're striving, you're out of order. And then we have Coach Kim Dudash in here, one of my best friends in the world. She's an incredible part of this community. Good morning, Coach Kim. She says, Janice, I can relate to your story. Don't you love it when God works in your life by dropping something in your lap, revealing to you how you have limited yourself by being addicted to the struggle. Thanks for sharing. Wow. I am, so Jessica says she's in Scotland until November. So we say to all of our Scottish friends, welcome to Rock Your Vision. We are officially an international show. Come on. That's so exciting. Jessica has an incredible story as well. But I want to ask you, Janice, because so many of our community members and people who find us either on Facebook or Instagram, y'all be sure to go and follow us. We've got some incredibly exciting things coming up just for those who are either following on our mailing list or are in our free private coaching group. There are going to be some very specific things that we share in those environments. So please go and join. But a lot of our leaders are, they're doing it. They already have a track record of success, or they already have something that has been ruminating with them, right? Most of our community members are not people that are new to vision. they may need help. They may need structure. They may need guidance. They need accountability and community. And that's what we specialize in. But what would you say to that leader who is right here at this time of year where things start to feel a little hard, right? Somebody's bearing down on you. You may just be bearing down on yourself, thinking about, oh my goodness, here it is. We're in August and I haven't done this or I haven't done that. We're talking about this week how to pulse check your vision. And for those of you that don't know, we're going to be recording an after show. That is members only community content. We're going to be recording that afterwards and then uploading it in our free Facebook group to share and going through some of those power plays. But Janice, I'm curious, what would you say to that leader who is working so hard? I mean, they're just trying to go after it. Maybe they're exhausted. Maybe they feel like they're going through the motions. What would you say to that leader?
I would say pause. Take a minute and pause. You know, one of the things that I find when I am just grinding, trying to check off the list, you know, especially for us vision-driven leaders, and we have this plan, and it's like, okay, I'm supposed to do this, and I got to hit my 90-day mark, and, you know, in 90 days, I need to have this. By the end of the year, I need to accomplish this. Pause. Breathe. Let's take a minute and step away and remember why we started. For me, I have to pause. I might go through a season of prayer and fasting. I might go away. My family just recently took a quick little staycation up to the lake, just as a minute, just a minute. Like we just need a minute. It was a couple of days. And for me, the entire time I was there, I was, Father, what are you speaking to me now? What are you saying to me now? I don't need to know what's on the plan because I wrote the plan. I already know what's on the plan. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what the milestones I need to accomplish. But I was feeling like I'm burning out and I'm just going through the motions. And I'm feeling like the end is so doggone far. I don't even know if I'm going to hit those milestones. And I needed a fresh wind. I needed to be recalibrated. I need to hear what he was saying. And so for me, we were there, our last trip, the last time we did this was in May. And for 4 days, we were there every morning before we did our family activity. I got out, I walked outside the place. We stayed in a beautiful Airbnb and there was a lake there too. And I just walked the ground and I just was asking God, what are you saying? What are you saying? I need you to say something to me. I need you to speak to me. I kept saying, I need you to speak to me. So it was the third day. That evening at some ungodly hour of the morning. I'm like, really, Lord?
Right. That's what happens, right?
I hear the Lord talking to me and I hear him say, see it through. That don't make no good sense to me. Do you hear me? See it. I'm like, see it through. Now, let me tell you, I don't know that when I'm at home, you know, I have my notebook by my bed so I can just turn over, right, see it through and going on back to sleep. We on vacation. I ain't got nothing. So I'm like, hoping I'm gonna remember see it through in the morning. So I'm saying in my sleep, see it through, see it through, see it through, see it through. You know, because I'm not gonna
right.
I'm just being honest. So I get up the next morning and I type it in my phone and I'm like, okay. So then now I gotta linger on this. Because it's not, I could go with what I think see it through means. But I want to know what he meant. Because you know, I'm liable to mess up. So I'm praying. And for the next week when I get home, every day at my quiet time, Father, you know, you said see it through. What does that mean? What is it that means, Lord? I mean, show me in my personal life what does see it through mean? In my professional life, what does see it through mean? In my social life, what does see it through mean? God, show me. Even in my health, what does see it through mean? And so then I started going through scripture. Well, you know, the phrase see it through is nowhere in scripture like that. But I'm listening, you know, and I'm thinking, okay, is he saying finish? And so this is what I hear. I hear finish, but then I had to go deeper. What does finish mean?
Come on.
Means to complete or to conclude. So he's saying, I said, what do I need to complete or what do I need to conclude? Now that y'all might think that mean the same thing, but literally it doesn't. Because conclude can mean it is incomplete, but this is the end of that.
Wow.
It's like, okay. And so I made a list. So the next day quiet time, so I'm just lingering in my quiet time. So Father, can you reveal to me in my life, what are the things I need to complete or conclude? And I'm just writing it down personally, writing it down professionally, writing it down as it relates to my health, writing it down as it relates to my girls, writing it down as it relates to my relationships. Y'all, can I tell y'all just very practically, because I know this is a business chat, but we do this. I want to just talk to you even about life. So the first thing that was on the list, was file the healthcare claims that you need to file. The second thing that was on the list, finish your taxes. Y'all, I mean, I'm talking about real practical.
Come on.
Do you know that in doing just the first thing? So the first thing I did, I said, okay, Lord, I'm going ahead and file these healthcare things. It's literally just the reimbursement for the doctor's things. Y'all, do y'all know I filed the things and 2 days later we had $2,500 in our account? Okay, so that might not mean nothing to nobody.
Come on.
You've been worried about, I need to close a deal because I need to make some more money. I need to do this because I got to get this together. I need to, and then all he said is complete or conclude.
So let's just stop right there. I got to stop right there. Andy, I'm gonna need you to come back and give me an amen in a minute. Sometimes we're in this thing of kind of going glory to glory. You know, we pray and say, God bless me, God use me. And then he puts you in a situation where you've got what you asked for. And we're already striving for we haven't done what it is, or we get in it and we're like, well, that's great. Thank you so much for that. But it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Or I want a bigger territory, or what I really wanted was, now I know you gave that to me. I know you gave me that thing right there, that job or that person or that situation. But actually what I was really looking for was this over here.
Listen.
Andy, talk to us about the unsettled heart, I am in the middle of the year and I have these great big goals that I want to get to. And so I'm focused on the goal, but I'm not focused on my assignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, yeah. So let me spring off of something. And Janice, something I keep hearing you say that I feel like is an underlining theme through everything. It's like been woven through all that you've shared is everybody, every CEO, every leader works for someone or something greater than themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it always is going to bring us back to the clarifying conversation that sometimes you got to make a sandwich no matter where you sit in the organization. Sometimes you got to sit down and have a really what we would call basic conversation, because no one ascends in anything worth doing outside of accountability to someone or something greater. The vision, if you're not a believer, God, if you are a believer, and what you've taught us, and this is brilliant, Janice. I think this is something that helps people get unstuck. And to your point, Karen, helps to settle the heart and recalibrate the heart is, who are you giving permission to? Who gets permission to interrupt you without hijacking what you've resolved?
Ooh.
Right. And so that you've talked about that, right? You know, you talked about, and I think those are the, when I heard you say complete and conclude, I was like, all right, now she's gone off the rails a little bit.
Yeah, now she's preaching.
Because conclude is all about what you've settled.
Yes.
That doesn't need anybody else's affirmation to settle. Right? Like, and so there was a voice greater in your life. And I think to vision, Karen, something that you've been talking about for years as we've been doing this, is vision gets the ultimate voice. But if the vision isn't greater, it didn't originate greater than you, then your voice will be louder than the vision.
Yes, come on.
That's when you can't conclude things, because what happens when you're conflicted? One of the things, anxiety that plays a part to every human is when we've divided ourselves, and dividing ourselves means we've allowed too many voices to speak. And I just so appreciate, Janice, just the wisdom you dropped in, first of all, being vulnerable and exposed, that you don't get that from a lot of CEOs and leaders, but you've constantly woven this thought in, I've got to allow a voice greater to speak and get my attention. And when you said complete and conclude, I thought, what she's talking about. And I wrote this down. You said this in some way, but I'm a simple thinker, and I was like, man, if I don't write this down, but your resolve has to be greater than your wrestle.
Yes.
Come on.
When you're
Say
wrestling,
say that one more time.
well, this is what Janice has been saying, right? Your resolve is greater than your wrestle. When you can understand, you will have wrestle, but you can't introduce another wrestle to beat a current wrestle. You have to introduce something different to attack the wrestle, and that's resolve. That's what you are persuaded. I use the term divinely persuaded.
Yeah.
That's what you talked about. But there's got to be a resolve that has greater authority than a wrestle. By the way, introducing a wrestle to a wrestle is not going to resolve a current wrestle. That's just going to only kick the can down the street of your current wrestle. You've just traded one wrestle for another wrestle. But when you bring resolve into your wrestle, that resolve is what you've already established that you are so persuaded about that you cannot not listen to because you decided. And so again, what I feel like we've been taught here today, and I just was like, boom, man, this is just like, so I wrote down, Andy, it's time to resign to your wrestle so you can say yes to your resolve.
Come on.
Like, that's where we're going, right?
Wow. That is so good. That is so good. I know y'all don't believe this, huh?
I said, so thank you, Janice. And by the way, I'm from Savannah, so I knew we were family. I knew we were family. When you said it, I'm like,
did I tell y'all?
Put it on blast because now my girl, now she's talking my language.
Yes.
So here we go.
Yes, I love it. By the way, I cannot leave the broadcast today without highlighting Janice. We mentioned earlier at the top of the broadcast that how we met was so interesting. I want to give a shout out to another CEO that we're going to have on, Mrs. Cherie Knowles, who is our sister from another mister. We actually think we're related. Now we're working on that. But she is the one who, by way of an invitation recently, connected me with Janice. We were on a private retreat recently where we were doing that, just trying to get quiet together with another group of incredible female CEOs. And so we've got lots of connection. But I was posting, we were doing our marketing and whatnot, highlighting the show. And one of my boos came in and said, wait a minute, Janice Anderson? So I want to give a shout out to Miss Tiandra Grant. Yes. Because I understand she's one of your boos too.
I see you, Tiandra.
Absolutely. How do you know Tiandra? Can you hear me?
Yeah, say it again.
How do you know Tiandra?
So Tiandra and my oldest daughter went to college together, and my oldest daughter graduated from KSU, but she teaches at my middle daughter, my 13-year-old's middle school. And so Tiandra is like, she come over to the house and take care of the kids sometimes.
I love it. So she's family.
She is family.
Well, we're about to get into that stage of transitioning. But I want to pop into the chat just one more time, as they say, to just capture a few other comments and to acknowledge some folks who have joined us live on the chat. Kristen Talent Yeri is here. She is one of our longtime followers. She's an incredible woman of God. She's a believer. She has an incredible family. And she says, clarify our assignment today, Lord, and give us eyes to see and ears to hear. Thank you for sharing your faith story, Janice. She also says, Pastor Andy, can you share that quote about resigning your wrestle? She wants to hear that again. So while you're getting that together, I'm just going to say, y'all, it is already like we've already recorded a full show. We're getting ready to transition into the after show. We are going to be going over the power plays. These are some of the specific strategies that can incrementally help you rock your vision, help you build a vision you love. Now, these are going to be going up on the website shortly. And we're also going to be sharing them in the private free group coaching community. If you are not in there and you're watching this on replay or watching live, please make sure you're in there. If you are watching this on Facebook, at the top of the banner, you'll see a link there that says join group. Make sure to get in there, answer the questions, and you can get your own copy. This is the cheat sheet for all of the power plays. The power plays, how to do that mid-year pulse check on your vision. You can use this at any time, but we wanted to give you a resource, something that you can use. We call them tools you can use right now to pulse check your vision. Now, for those that are in our group coaching community on Facebook, that's where you join group. We're going to be doing a masterclass and providing a toolkit. So this is the expanded version of this, where you get all of the things you need to absolutely figure out how to pulse check your vision. We're excited about that. Pastor Andy, what was that quote?
Yeah, I just wrote down, I must resign to my wrestle to say yes to my resolve. Or I think probably a better way to rephrase it now that I think about it is I must resign to my wrestle to be employed by my resolve.
Come on.
Because at the end of the day, the resolve's got to be greater. And man, Janice, I just want to say thank you to you to come on. And you something you've done today that I just want to affirm over you is that you've helped those that have a divine persuasion of God understand how to nuance influence and affluence by knowing how to remove the confusion, right? Yeah. And so I just want to say thank you for just the wisdom you've dropped today. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Janice, I will just say, I don't think it was any accident that we connected. Janice also actually has a piece of content, a suite of content called Jumpstart Your Vision. And for those of you who are interested in connecting with Janice, let me set this straight. Rock Your Vision is not intended to hold people captive. It is intended to release people, to set them free into their God-given vision. We know we have a diverse community. We know that not everybody who's watching us and following us and keeping track are believers, but our goal is to create a community that is respectful and honoring. My Christian faith is the foundation of how Rock Your Vision got to be here. So I create a space that encourages, inspires, and equips vision-driven leaders who want to connect their faith with that piece of their life. So if that's your jam, this is the place for you. We are going to be announcing some of the things that are coming through the end of the year and into 2023. So we hope that you'll stay tuned. Make sure to join the free Facebook group for sure. But I want you to go and follow Janice. Her work is good ground. She is a vision-driven leader in every way. She is a vision master for sure. And Janice, we just thank you for affirming us and sharing the behind the scenes, sharing the stuff that nobody talks about, right? When I got started, I didn't have a network. I didn't have, family connections. I didn't have funding. I didn't have any of that. All I had was the seed of a vision. And I followed that, sometimes through tears, sometimes through wondering what the heck I was doing. But you know what? God saw me through, and that's the way he rolls. That's the way he rolls. So Janice, any closing comments for those who are listening, and remind us once again how we can follow you?
Okay, so first, thank you so much for having me, Karen. This has been so fun. I appreciate when I'm invited into spaces and I get to fully show up as who I am, and not have to water down any version of me. And it may seem ironic to hear me say this, but it was a long time before I got comfortable speaking about my faith in public, because I wanted to separate church and state, and I wanted to make sure that I was professional. I came from a corporate background, a corporate communications and marketing background. That's what I do. That's what I'm good at that. So I wanted to say things that weren't offensive and didn't, overburden people with your perspective. So I'm grateful for, one, saying yes to God, and two, for spaces like this. So thank you for what you're creating.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Pastor Andy, for doing what a good, wise pastor can do is bring it on home.
Come on.
For my brother, I was like, it's something about him. And
Yes.
hometown, that's amazing. So thank you. And thank you to all the vision-driven leaders that are in the community. Oh, I do want to correct something. My program is Jumpstart Your Brand. Let Karen
Jumpstart your brand. Thank you.
let her jumpstart your vision. And then when you want to expand it, you want to grow it, you want to know how to market it and reach the people that you're called to serve, then I have a Jumpstart program for that. So actually we are complementary in
I
what
love
we
it.
offer. I would like to say this to everyone who is listening. Don't take it lightly that you have been entrusted with a vision. A lot of people don't have it. They are short-sighted. You've seen them. They're short-sighted. They're living in the moment. They can't see beyond today. They wake up to die. But you're gifted with a vision. And one of the best things that you can do is to steward that vision well, even if that means for a season, I need to take a break. For a season, I need to regroup. For a season, I need to just step back, restore myself, become refreshed so that I can rock this thing. That's what this is about, rocking the vision.
Come on.
You the vision. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so if that means take a break, it's okay. It's okay. You're not in a race. One of the things I say to the people in my community is this is your life work. This is not homework and this isn't a sprint.
Mm.
This
Mm.
is my life. So if that means for a minute, I need to just step back and recalibrate, refine some things, let go of some things, I'm willing to do that. That's
Yeah.
why you see the peace. That's why you see the confidence. I'm not in a race.
Wow. Woo! I mean, what a way to end the show. I mean, good gracious. Y'all, I could not have asked for a better guest on this, our relaunch of Jumpstart Your Vision with Coach Karen. I am so excited to be moving into this new season. You're going to be seeing a lot more of Pastor Andy. We've got some incredible opportunities here in kind of the virtual digital space, but we're also going to be launching our quarterly vision summits. And then, of course, at the beginning of the year, we do a huge vision summit where we go in and we help you. We give you the tools. We introduce you to people like Janice Anderson. And this year, assuming all is well, it will be in person as well. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for trusting us with your time and your space. We know that you can build a vision you love. We right here in this community know that. We hope to be a light and an inspiration and an encouragement to you as you step forward and providing you with the tools and resources that you need to rock your vision. So folks, until next time, we appreciate you. We love you. Remember, you've got more options than you realize. We'll see you next week.